HarmonyOS is finally out, but it's very far from being an immediate Android replacement, and that's both good and bad. President Trump has new claims that will leave the Huawei Ban situation right back to where we started in May, and some researchers just found out that there is a FaceID breach by putting modified glasses on unconscious people. I'm Jaime Rivera. I don't think you'll hear it, but it's pouring rain outside, just out of the blue. This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news today begin with deals. Those of you in the market for a MacBook Air, I highly recommend that you consider B&H. Right now, the company has the 2018 256 gig 13-inch MacBook Air with a $350 discount. This pretty much leaves the computer at $1,050. Obviously, it's the last generation, but it still is the new design, so it's not necessarily a bad deal. You're still getting the bad switches on the keyboard. Now let's talk about some Geekbench scores that just emerged about a very interesting Snapdragon we weren't aware of. According to the rumors, this could be the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865. It has some pretty decent scores and stands up to the future Exynos and Kirin variants, which is a good thing as more flagships next year will bring this processor. Code seems to be Kona 64. We're talking about 4149 in single-core performance and almost 13,000 in multi-core. Obviously, it is too early to judge, but we will keep you posted as soon as we learn more. Now, for those of you that rely on Face ID, I know that Apple claimed that nothing was more secure than it, even more secure than Touch ID. The thing about it is, we've got some researchers that just found a way to bypass it, and it's kind of weird. It seems that the way to do it is by putting modified glasses on unconscious people. They put tape on the squared hole on the glasses and breach the system when the victim is unconscious. The problem is that Face ID has different ways to detect whether a person is real, like background noise, which doesn't affect this technique, and Face ID has a different way to scan eyes when people are using glasses. And obviously, it's not that they can breach with somebody else's face, it's still the same person's face. It's just, that there's a way for you to only be able to operate it when conscious. So apparently that's what they're bypassing. Oh well. Now let's move the spotlight over to Samsung, as the company is apparently launching their new ISOCELL camera sensor on Monday, and it's kind of a big deal. The company has confirmed this on Twitter using the hashtag NextGenCapture. We don't know whether this ISOCELL will be for flagships or mid-rangers, but considering the Note was launched pretty much already, we're probably going to consider this to be launching until the Galaxy S11 or the next Galaxy A. I will set my bet more on the Galaxy A because usually Samsung uses the A first and then launches it on the standard. We'll see. And for those of you that are wondering exactly what is the status of the Huawei ban, well, it just got really bad. During a press conference today, the POTUS declared that the US will not be doing business with Huawei. And according to Bloomberg, he will also suspend the licensing system for US companies to work with them. He stated they might agree to something if they make a trade deal, but they won't be doing any business. Around 50 US companies applied for this license to be able to work with Huawei. Bloomberg claims that this is Trump's response to China desisting from buying US farming goods, even though that has nothing to do with phones right now. So yeah, it seems that farming goods in the United States, which China, I believe, doesn't even need, are the problem right now. This pretty much leaves the company back to where we were in May, sadly. Oh well. And finally, the hottest news today is pretty much the reaction to that. As HarmonyOS is now official, Huawei has pretty much spelled everything that we're getting. And bear with me here, as it's both good and bad. If you remember, the company trademarked the name HarmonyOS back in July and announced it yesterday. This new open source operating system was built with versatility in mind, as it can be used on smartphones, smartwatches, and even smart speakers. Report claims that they will roll it out to smart screens this year and to smartwatches within the next 3 years. No mention on small screens like smartphones. Richard Yu stated how different from Android and iOS it is due to its scaling ability. If the ban is still in place, we could see it on the Mate 30, even though it doesn't seem like an Android replacement at all. Even though if you think of it, I mean, there's no guarantee that this truly is an Android replacement. Sure, it's got a lot of scalability, which is good. It's open source, which is great. I think that was the right strategy, but let us know in the comments down below, what do you think? Do you think that this is a good move from Huawei? Do you think that it would be smarter for them to continue trying to get Android? In my case, I don't blame the company. I think that they can't leave all their eggs in one basket, and launching an open source for me is a great strategy, because that's what made Android popular, the fact that anybody can use it. So is the case with Hongmeng or you know, Harmony, whatever the case may be. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Hopefully this doesn't end up with more, I don't know, fragmentation. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channels, English and Spanish, for more videos like this one. Also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see what I do with these phones. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the recap.